One. And we're back once again, ladies and gentlemen, only on It Is Last Call. Last Call with the alcohol, only on the Last Call YouTube channel. Joining me here, well, we heard from Grant Neal, but now we're going to talk to his opponent who also is very confident going into this fight. He's fresh off a submission victory. He plans, I'm guessing, to make another guy tap with an arm bar or some kind of leg lock or submission hold. I'm looking forward to it here. I give you once again one of the best kept secrets at 205. I give you Alex Polizzi. Alex, you, Grant Neal, Bellator. It's going to be all the way in San Jose. There's going to be crowds there. I mean, how excited are you about this? Where if there's actually now, you're getting a bigger opponent, and there's going to be people actually watching you during this fight.
Yeah, it's nice getting back to having crowds and people in the stands and watching and cheering. It's also nice that this will be my first time with Bellator as at somewhere else other than Uncasville, Connecticut, which beautiful casino, nice place, but it's nice to be able to move around a little bit and San Jose, get out there with some sun, nice West Coastin', and like you said, opponent a little bit higher, and we're just looking to have a good time.
So break it down for me here. You've seen Grant Neal. I mean, I'm guessing you and your team have looked at some tape and you figure out, okay, what he is, what he isn't. What makes him a good fighter? Like what you've seen, what makes him an effective guy compared to, let's say, other fighters you faced?
Well, here's the thing. I think I've said it before in some other interviews. I'm not a big fan of watching the tape. I leave that up to my coaches, and I let them tell me what I need to be working on. So as far as I know that he's a good fighter, and Bellator hasn't done me wrong on choosing opponents. I know that he's a good guy making his way up the rankings. But outside of that, I'm looking forward to meeting him in the cage.
Why don't you like watching tape? Because I know some guys love it, other guys hate it, and I've heard the reasonings, whether it's I don't like getting nervous. I don't want to see a guy, I don't want to start, changing my game plan for this guy. Some guys like it because they get to see something maybe that they don't get to see live. Like for you, what is it about film that you're going, it's just not my cup of tea?
You kind of hit on the head with that thing. That second thing you said. I don't want to change up my game plan too much. If I know that a lot of guys will watch and they're like, well, he's going to do this, so I need to do this. But at the same time, if you think about it, your opponent's doing the same thing. So is he going to come at you with those same sort of things? You could try to watch for a pattern, but he could be coming at you with something new. So I just try to focus on the stuff I know I'm good at, and I'm just going to make that stuff better. And I'm going to watch film. If I'm going to watch film, it's going to be fights that I've had, and I've said, hey, I screwed up there. I need to fix that. Or, hey, that stance is looking a little sloppy. We got to tighten that up. And I feel like it's a little bit easier for me to control because, in a sport like MMA, there's so many variables flying around. There's striking, there's wrestling, there's grappling. All this stuff is going around, and it makes it a little bit too much if you're focused on, what he's going to do as well. So I'm trying to keep my camps compact and fix the things I can and just be ready to take on the changes that I can't,
Do you try to get like an inside vote? Like, I mean, some guys will, if they don't like tape, they'll go and they'll talk to somebody, maybe a common opponent, or they'll know somebody who fought him and they'll go, well, what did you see? Like, what is it? Is there any trick? I mean, I know that every fighter tries to get advantage. For you, is there anything you do differently, Ben? Do you talk to other opponents? Do you, talk to people who might have, crossed paths or at least try to figure out, like, okay, what is there a weakness in him that I can exploit?
And like what I said, I don't like watching the film just because then I tend to focus on, this is what he's going to do. And if I'm thinking too much about what the opponent's going to do, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. In that, I still will try to get an advantage. And that's where my excellent coaching staff comes in. They're watching the film. They're saying, hey, this is where his fight breaks down, we should tell Alex to work on this part of his game plan. Like we should tell him, we got to tell Alex to focus on, you know, getting in real close, or we got to tell Alex that he needs to step up his knees or something like that. So so I'm not so much focused on, you know, countering my opponent. I'm focused on what my coaches are telling me to accentuate in my game plan. And I know it sounds like playing it for the opponent with extra steps, but that's the system that we've got, and I'm, you know, if it ain't broke, I don't really plan on fixing it.
Take me to Gustavo Trujillo, your last opponent. First round armbar victory. This is a guy who he was a legit Olympic level wrestler. I mean, this is a guy who was a world national champion. He was Greco-Roman wrestling, you know, world, you know, silver medals in the world championships. How much do you enjoy that when you can out grapple and wrestle a guy who, on paper, he should beat you? I mean, he is one of those guys who is an elite level wrestler, and yet your MMA wrestling and your grappling basically took him out and submitted him.
Yeah, and you know, I talked about it with the interview kind of fresh off that fight, but he really, I mean, if you watch it from a pure wrestling standpoint, he got the better of me. He was getting takedowns, he was staying in good position. He wasn't giving up his back, but I think what it was is just it's a 5-minute round. It's a different game when you're in that cage, and you know, he's taken all this time and energy to pick me up and set me down and pick me up and set me down. And I just wanted to stay. I was able to stay in real close, and I was able to keep pressure on him, and so we weren't taking big breaks, and he wasn't getting big slams when he was taking me down, and able to tire him out and look for my spot to really take over. And once that was there, there was that arm bar hanging out, and it's easy to jump on. I think, you know, like you said, I mean, on paper, he's got, you know, Olympic level wrestling and whatnot, but ask anybody, you know, Olympic level wrestling isn't MMA wrestling. There's a difference. And that's why we do the mixed martial arts, because it has influences everything, and you can make little adjustments to the main martial art to kind of make it work for you and make it a little bit different. So yeah, I was real happy with being able to stay close and kind of stay in my comfort zone, which is wrestling, grappling. It was nice enough to be there, but yeah, we were able to just keep on that pressure and wear him down and get that arm.
How long did it take you to be able to go, okay, I'm not going to fall into those traps? When I say traps, you know how it is. Everybody likes to pick up and slam, whether it's the late Kevin Randleman suplexing Fedor Emelianenko on his head, or, you know, Raul Romero doing, you know, German suplexes. Ed Ruth, you know, for a long time loved to pick people up and slam them. You know, that was the Rampage Jackson, you know, even move where he literally power bombs Ricardo Rona. And as you said, yeah, that's great, but if you're not knocking a guy out, that's wasted energy. You have just burned energy here. You're a wrestler at heart. I mean, I know you love picking people up and slamming them or headlocking them or throwing them. So for you, how long did it take you to go, okay, a trip takedown is just as effective as a pickup and double leg slam?
Yeah, and you know, the wrestler part always wants to be at the attacking part of that, but you know, when you're coming up and you're learning those styles, just like when you're learning any martial art, it's nice to be on the attack, but you got to know how to take the stuff first. Big part of that Olympic wrestling is, but before you start suplexing people and getting big 5-point throws, you got to learn how to take a throw. You have to learn how to make sure that you're not sticking your head out or sticking your arm out and getting it broken when you get returned. So I think it's something important that you have to be able to learn how to defend, and especially in, like we've talked about, mixed martial arts, you can have guys that are good base, you know, style, but if you don't have defense in every style, then you're going to just get picked apart. And in that with Trujillo, I was able to roll through a lot of the, not roll through. I was able to roll with a lot of the takedowns. He was getting them, but he wasn't causing a lot of damage to me. He was picking me up, taking me down, and we were back to scrambling and working. And I was able to just kind of keep the gas pedal pushed, wear him out a little bit, like you said, with him picking me up and taking me down and not doing a ton of damage. It kind of worked in my favor, and I was able to get an arm that popped out.
We're gonna go back to Lavis in a minute. Once again, it is none other than Alex Easy Polizzi here on the show. We're talking all things, of course, his upcoming fight. We're talking a Trujillo win. We're talking Grant Neal, not videotape versus not watching videotape. How much does this change? And as we were talking about this here, and I know off air you said, well, I just get the contract and fight. It's a different fight though this time because it's Showtime as a doubleheader. There's a boxing card and then another MMA card. The MMA card is going second. So is there a part of you that wants to know, at least from, management, like, hey, what's going on? When is my fight going to happen? Because I'm guessing that changes the way you train, the way the way you're going to be going, into this fight. Like, all right, my fight might be at 11 o'clock at night, Eastern time, 8 p.m. Pacific time. I want to get ready. I want to make sure that I get, my sleep pattern ready, but, the week of a fight. So I'm not, tired by the time it's midnight. No, my fight is finally starting because the boxing finally got it over with.
Yeah, there'll be some adjustments there. That's just logistical stuff, though. You just got to make sure that you're planning ahead. And I'm lucky enough that I don't have to, the week before, I don't have to concern myself a ton with, cutting crazy big amounts of weight. So I can make those adjustments to my sleep schedule and, kind of activity schedule the week of. And as far as prepping for that, it's really just the time zone thing. I'm not too concerned about, where I am in the night of viewing. Cause as far as I'm concerned, I'm the only fight of the night that really counts. I mean, I know Bellator probably doesn't want to hear me talking about that as far as their show goes, but I'm, as a fighter, you got to be most concerned with your fight. So that's kind of where we're going, and we'll adjust our sleep and training, and of course, food. Food's always real important to make sure that you're getting all the calories that you need the day of to be able to put on a good show for Bellator and for everybody watching.
I know that you're focused on your fight. Grant Neal said the same thing. He's focused only on you, but I'm guessing the two of you are looking at the main event going, ooh, this may be a fun fight for us. Down the road here, like next fight, whoever wins, because it's Yoel Romero versus Phil Davis.
Yep.
You grew up watching both these guys. I mean, they both were fixtures in the UFC. Phil Davis, one of a few guys who had a main, has had a big time sponsor at one point, which is right. How tough is that for you, just focusing on his fight at times, not going, I beat Grant Neal. I'm going to call out Phil Davis. I'm calling out Phil Davis. So you know what? If Yoel Romero wins, I'm going to call his ass out. It's closer here. I got 3 wins in a row, Bellator. I'm ready. Me, Yoel Romero. I'm going to, he can try to suplex my ass and I'll armbar him, or me, Phil. Let's just do it here. How much is the ego going? Ooh, we're going to call somebody out here, and yet you're trying not to think, past the fight, but there's that, all of a sudden you're one step closer to a Phil Davis or Yoel Romero.
Yeah, like you said, it's trying to keep it one fight at a time, but those possibilities are always there. And I mean, Bellator has been treating me right, and I love to keep fighting for them. And whether that's Davis or whether that's Romero, we'll have yet to see. It should be a heck of a main event. And maybe I can get enough time to get cleaned up and make sure that I catch it and be ready to toss it up with one of those guys. But I don't know. As far as the calling out and all that goes, maybe I'm not as big of a personality, but it seems strange to me that, in a sport that's respected, I don't understand the calling out. I'm not saying, I'm not dissing on anybody who makes their way doing that, but it all seems kind of WWE to me, which, don't get me wrong, again, I buddies in WWE and it's a great thing, but I just don't see. I like to separate MMA into a sport and not a show. Now I sound like I'm up on my high horse.
No, I get what you're saying, because I know we've had the guys, whether it's Jimmy Rivera, whether it's Grant Neal, Yair Rosenstrike, Colby Covington. We've had Jared Cannonier. There's no right answer. So my question to you is this: as this will be the final question here before I wrap this interview up. How do you build the brand then? Because this is the fight game, and it's as old as time. You say WWE, I can say they stole this years and years ago from guys like Cassius Clay, from guys like Roberto Duran, from guys like even Mike Tyson, Bernard Hopkins, Floyd Mayweather. In MMA, we've had with the Conor McGregors, the Colby Covingtons, Bellator's own, Chael Sonnen, AJ McKee. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. The guys who talk trash, they build their brand. So for you, how do you, come to that realization of, yes, you want to be professional, but at the same time, it's an entertainment business. People want to be entertained. They love, conflict,
of course.
They love, trash talk. And unfortunately, sometimes you got to be, part athlete and part, as they say, show monkey.
I agree with that. And I'll say that, that again, it's like what you're saying, it's been going on for a long time and people like to see that drama. And maybe I misspoke when I say I don't need to get, I just don't think I'm that good at it. I've even tried my hand at, trash talking in the local skirt. I'm just not very good at it. So as far as building my brand, I really hope that the people like watching me fight. And I think that between just kind of being me and making funny jokes on the internet and kind of keeping my fighting style, how do I want to say this, unique, that maybe I can get people who are like, hey, you check out that Polizzi guy? Yeah, man, he's throwing around, he's sitting on people and doing crazy arm bars and going for legs when he has no reason to. And I'm hoping that that's enough, because if it comes down to talking trash, I mean, that's worse than a lot of my other skills. I try to let my hands do most of the talking.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, he's going to let his hands do the talking. It's going to be, once again, only on Bellator now 266. Davis Romero, September 18th. He'll be taking on Grant Neal in a light heavyweight scrap, and we're looking forward to seeing it. I give you, once again, it's Easy E himself. I give you, it's Alex Polizzi. Alex, before I let you go, where can fans check you out at? Where is the Twitter page, Instagram, the website? Who are the sponsors going to be for this fight coming up?
Oh man, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You search up Alex Easy. That's EAZY Polizzi, and you should be able to find me doing stuff on there. And I've got plenty of old sponsors, guys that have been with me since the beginning: The Rock Bar and Grill, Alpha Stone and Tile, JMR Engineering Solutions, some places up in Madison Family Wellness, who's been sticking the acupuncture needles in me, and Elite Massage up there. Let's see, I don't want to forget anybody. And as well as some new ones. We got J&J Housing Inspections, Remax Ignite is on board, and Mickey Magnum, which is a local band, and that's going to be playing the walkout song, as well as a buddy of mine's program that he has going on down here, Club Fun to Mental. He's helping kids in the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, getting some play in. I know now with COVID and stuff and schools kind of always trying to get kids back into the yards and doing what they're good at and what they're supposed to be doing. I think that's all sponsors. Just happy to have everybody helping out, staying in my corner, making sure that you're checking me out. And of course, my gym, Chosen Few in McFarland, Wisconsin, always in my corner, pushing me to go harder and just hopefully bring good show to everybody in Bellator.
Alex Polizzi, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's always an honor, pleasure having on the show. Stay tuned for more great interviews coming up, though, only on It Is Last Call. Last Call with the alcohol, only on It Is the Last Call YouTube channel.